This analysis examines the science of sleep architecture and the environmental variables that dictate physiological recovery. In clinical terms, sleep architecture is a measurable outcome requiring rigorous control over the physical space, rather than a subjective metric of guest comfort. The primary biological target of this spatial engineering is the rapid eye movement, or REM cycle. Utilizing the room as an active physiological tool begins with prioritizing the specific requirements of the REM cycle. The traditional hospitality industry incorrectly equates true luxury with superficial material opulence, fine textiles, high thread counts, and polished aesthetics. Yet visual design and expanded square footage yield no measurable impact on the recovery of the human nervous system. This lack of physiological utility necessitates a transition toward a framework called biological luxury. Biological luxury is defined strictly by the uncompromising engineering of human physiological recovery over aesthetic appeal. A mathematically symmetrical, visually flawless hotel suite can simultaneously act as a biologically hostile environment if it fails to manage thermal and sensory inputs. A guest may report a subjective feeling of rest upon waking, while objective clinical metrics reveal severe sleep fragmentation and elevated cortisol levels. To bridge this gap, spatial design must focus on environmental stressor neutralization rather than superficial visual appeal. Capital investment directed at traditional luxury assets yields no return for the high-performance guest if the environment itself fails to facilitate the REM cycle. Restorative sleep strictly demands a sustained reduction in core body temperature. This core cooling is the exact physiological trigger that signals the brain to initiate the transition into deep REM sleep. Empirical data establishes the 18 degrees Celsius rule. An ambient temperature of precisely 18 degrees Celsius provides the optimal thermal gradient required for this biological process. Achieving this stability requires managing the thermal mass of the environment through highly specific architectural material selection. The mattress and surrounding furniture must act as conductive sinks, actively drawing heat away from the resting human body. This heat map visualizes thermal energy radiating from a human form into temperature-regulating materials. Traditional dense foam and textiles interrupt this, pooling heat against the skin. The rising graph shows escalating core temperature. Unable to cool, the body increases metabolic activity, causing immediate sleep fragmentation. Regulating thermal mass ensures the thermodynamic stability required for deep physiological rest. Beyond thermal regulation, the human nervous system exhibits extreme evolutionary sensitivity to ambient sensory stimuli. Neutralizing these stimuli requires the implementation of a strict photon lockdown protocol. Even minimal ocular light exposure immediately signals the pineal gland to suppress the endogenous production of melatonin. Standard hospitality fixtures, standby LED indicators, digital clocks, and light bleed from under doorways operate as active biological threats to circadian rhythms. Consequently, total pitch darkness functions as an absolute requirement for recovery. Invisible to the eye, electromagnetic frequencies act as a continuous stressor within modern infrastructure. Ambient EMF generated by building-wide Wi-Fi networks and electrical grids introduces low-level, continuous interference to the central nervous system. To neutralize this threat, active electromagnetic shielding must be integrated directly into the architectural envelope of the suite. This diagram illustrates an active environmental barrier successfully blocking external electromagnetic interference from penetrating the sleeping space. The flat baseline graph emerging beneath the shield confirms complete sensory isolation, allowing the human nervous system to drop into a zero-stress state. Achieving true circadian integrity dictates the ruthless elimination of all external stimuli. Integrating rigorous thermodynamic regulation with absolute sensory isolation creates a unified architectural system. This engineered zero-stress physical space operates as a recovery capsule. This dashboard reflects the continuous stabilization of biological variables, tracking and maintaining optimal conditions throughout the entire night. The modern definition of luxury is exclusively the ability to completely neutralize environmental stressors. The hospitality value proposition centers on the delivery of biological capability. By engineering the environment, the architecture directly generates a measurable, high-performance morning for the occupant. Uninterrupted, optimized recovery yields the cognitive sharpness and physical readiness that constitutes the ultimate luxury product. Engineering physical environments to support specific biological requirements recalibrates hospitality outcomes. REM cycle optimization operates as the non-negotiable standard for high-performance real estate and wellness development moving forward. Ultimately, the future of human biological recovery relies on exact spatial metrics. True wellness tourism exists solely at the intersection of rigorous biological science and uncompromising architectural execution.